Y'all, so here for my first video on my brand new YouTube channel. If y'all been watching me already, y'all already know I got my fitness channel, which is my main channel right now, my most popular one anyway, JD Hop 0610. I also have my other channel that I started up, which I do song covers, J Hop Scene 23. So go check those out if y'all want to. Also make sure to subscribe to those as well. And make sure to go ahead and give this channel some love. And the name of this is going to be called the JH Review, and mainly going to be doing a lot of album reviews, but I also want to go on other aspects of entertainment as far as music, movies, TV, and gaming as well. But yeah, that's what this channel is going to be dedicated to. And to start things off, I'm going to be doing an album review for King Kendrick, my favorite rapper, of course. So of course I had to give him the honors of being my first video. And I'm going to be reviewing To Pimp a Butterfly, which has been out for a while, but I want to go ahead and get my thoughts out on it visually. So I guess you can consider this a retro review. Seeing this album has probably been out at least a year now, I think. It doesn't feel like it, but I think it's been about that long. But anyway, I don't quite know the format I'm going to do this in yet, so just kind of roll with it, you know, and just, you know, bear with me. So, because this is going to be a rough review for me, because this is the first time I've done this, and I'm kind of doing this on the fly right now, just off the top of the head, and I really don't have a set format or script or anything. So, let's go. So I guess what I'm going to do is kind of go track by track. I'm not going to go in depth on each one, just some of the ones that stand out to me, or else this video would take forever to do. But anyway, gonna have a little background music playing while I'm reviewing. Hopefully YouTube does not flag me down for playing this music, but I'm basically gonna be playing the album while I'm, you know, kind of giving my thoughts, because I don't want to, you know, give my review in silence because it feels kind of weird. So but before I get into that, before I actually heard the album, how I learned about it was I was actually on the work truck that day, and I got an email on my phone from Spotify, which I was listening to back then. I listen to Apple Music right now. That's the service I use. But I saw an email, and it had the new the Kendrick album or whatever, and I was like, what, Kendrick got a new album? No, he didn't like announce it or anything. It was just a complete surprise. So I was totally, you know, freaking out over it. So I immediately went to Spotify and started listening, only to kind of, you know, at first I was kind of bummed out because I was like, man, what is this? Because, you know, it had the funk and the jazz instrumentation and all that stuff like that. And I was basically expecting a Good Kid, Mad City 2, and it wasn't Good Kid, Mad City 2. So anyway, with that being said, let me go ahead and get into this album, which I do totally love. I love the whole CD, to be honest with y'all. I love the whole CD. There's not a bad track on here whatsoever. And that's when you know you have a good album, when you can listen to it from front to back without skipping any tracks. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get to the first track, called Wesley's Theory. Alright, so if y'all see me looking kind of over to the side a little bit, it's because I got lyrics pulled up on Genius.com. That's my go-to whenever I need to understand what a song is all about, because I like the annotations and stuff like that, and it explains in depth what the lyrics are about. So I like that website. If y'all ever want to understand a song, go to Genius.com. But that's what I have pulled up right now, because it's been a while since I listened to the album. I still listen to it every now and then, but not as much as I used to. But if I were a singer along with the album, yes, I do know every word. But anyway, Wesley's Theory. At first, I didn't like this song. I skipped it, and I had to listen to this CD maybe a good 5 or 6 times before it finally clicked. And also an interview that I listened to with Kendrick, I think he did it with MTV or something like that, and he was basically going to the premise of the song, basically about, you know, the life of a black entertainer, and possibly I think he's even talking about himself you know, when you first get that check and it's basically money, hoes, cars, and clothes, and you don't think about the responsibilities of what you need to do with your money. And it basically, in this song, I like how he characterizes Uncle Sam. And you know, Kendrick does like a lot of voice changes, so he kind of takes a, you know, page out of Eminem's book, you know, when he changes his accents up and stuff in the song, and I like that. Definitely like in the second verse, where is it at? I gotta find it. What you want, you a house, you a car, 40 acres and a mule, a piano with guitar, anything. See, my name is Uncle Sam, maybe dog. And then it goes like into the last part of the song, basically where it says, but remember you in past economics in school and everything you buy taxes will deny. I'll Wesley snipe your ass before 35. So anyway, and I like how, you know, he kind of gives a little nod to Wesley Snipes and his tax problems or whatnot that led him in jail. But yeah, I definitely like the first song after a couple listens and I had to get some education on the song before it, you know, really clicked with me. But I like it now. I really do. But going to the next song, For Free. Which I'm not really gonna stay on long. It's not really even a song, it's more of an interlude, and it's pretty funny too. But if y'all want to listen to that, go listen to that. But I like the interlude as well. King Kunta, y'all heard this one on the radio. I really don't want to go that much into it. Honestly, I really don't have nothing to say. I do like the song though. Institutionalized. Let's go ahead and get into that. What money gotta do with it when I don't know the full definition of a rap image? I'm trapped inside the ghetto and I ain't proud to admit it. Institutionalized, I keep running back for a visit. Hold up. Alright. So Institutionalized. Another song it took me a while to get used to, but I like this song too, and I like the message behind it. And basically Kendrick, what he goes into this song is basically, you know, being institutionalized as far as mindset, as far as people, you know, going from the hood and even being successful as Kendrick is, he still has that, I guess, that hood mentality every now and then. And he also talks about a part in the song where he took his friends to the BET Awards and they wanted to rob the people at the award show and stuff like that. Even though, you know, they were in this high profile setting, you know, they were still in that hood mentality, you know what I'm saying? But so I like the message behind that song. But yeah, let me go ahead and get into the fifth track, which is These Walls. These walls can talk, they tell me to swim good. No boat, I float better than he would. No life jacket, I'm not the God of Nazareth. But your flood can be misunderstood. Walls telling me they're full of pain and resentment. Need someone to live in them just to relieve tension. Me, I'm just a tenant. Landlord said these walls vacant more than a minute. These walls are vulnerable. Exclamation, interior pink, color coordinated. It was at this point I knew this song was about vagina. Well, the first part of the song anyway. These Walls has to be one of my favorite tracks on the album. And I like how he seamlessly went from talking about these walls, vagina, from these walls to actual walls. Or in this song, he's talking about the walls of a penitentiary. But yeah, definitely a favorite song of mine just for the instrumentation alone. I love it. But moving on into the next song, which is You. Nah, I ain't finna do that real. Neighbors probably think I'm crazy. But yeah, this is You. And it's probably gonna sound kind of strange to y'all, but it takes a while to get used to. Basically a contrast to the song that's later in the album called I, which is a single off the album as well. And it's basically kind of a self-hate, self-doubting type song where Kendrick is talking to himself, and he also uses that character, you know, change in his voice, going from the first verse to the last verse. Just kind of something y'all have to hear from y'all self, because I'm not going to depict it or else I'll sound kind of crazy. But he goes basically from the first verse to, you know, kind of arguing with himself. Then in the third verse, he's like sloppy drunk and he's be alright. Sorry y'all, but I gotta rap my favorite verse real quick. Now when I wake up, I recognize you're looking at me for the pay cut. Bahama said you're looking at you from the face down. One back 11 even booze when the face down. Scheming. Now let me tell you about my life. Painkillers only put me in the twilight. Rip pretty pussy and Benjamin is the highlight. I tell my mama I love her, but that's what I like. Lord knows. 20 of them in my Chevy. Tell them all to come and give me reaping everything I sold. Some of karma come in heavy. No preliminary hands on my record. I'm a mother gangster. Silence for the record. Tell the world I know it's too late. Boys and girls, I think God gone crazy. Drown inside my vices all day. Lord, you please believe when I say when you know. Alright. So, you definitely know Alright is a favorite song of mine. And I'm pretty sure y'all heard this one on the radio. So, other than that first verse, I like the rest of the song too. So, the second verse of the song kind of takes from Wesley's Theory, second verse, where it says, what you want, you a house, you a car, 40 acres and a mule, a piano, a guitar. But instead of saying Uncle Sam, he goes and say anything, see my name is Lucy, I'm your dog, which Lucy is depicted as Lucifer, the devil, in this album. So I like how he uses that as well. And you're also going to see him use Lucy a couple other times in the album as well. But other than that, another great song off the album. Of course, I'm pretty sure all of y'all know Alright by now. Alright, so the ninth track called Mama. And another good track. Once again, I love the instrumentation across this whole album. I can just listen to the instrumentals alone. But anyway, as far as this song is concerned, it could possibly be talking about not his mama, but mama like as in Africa, Mama Africa, because he's talking about going back home and stuff like that. And then in the third verse, he's talking about how he met a little boy with ashy black ankles, and the boy says to him, let me see if I can find the verse. He looked at me and said, Kendrick, you do know my language, you just forgot because of what public schools had painted. Oh, I forgot, don't kill my vibe, that's right, you're famous. I used to watch on Channel 5, TV was taken, but never mind, you're here right now, don't you mistake it. It's just a new trip. Take a glimpse at your family's ancestor. Make a new list of everything you thought was progress. Okay. So I think the song is talking about him going to Africa. So I never really thought about it until now, because I'm looking at, genius. As I said, I use them to help me interpret these lyrics. So listening on my own, it would probably take me like 100 tries to actually get what he's saying. But anyway, so going into the next song, called Hood Politics, which used to be my favorite song off the album. Not really much to say on this one. This the song that probably resembled Good Kid, Mad City the most. That's probably why I connected with it. But just listen overall to the album. This is not really my favorite song anymore, but I still like it. But not really much to say on Hood Politics. I like it. It's a good song. It's probably the closest track if you're looking for a song you just want to have fun to or something like this, even though it's still deep like the other songs. But this is about the closest song if you're looking for that type of song from Kendrick. Now going into the next song, How Much a Dollar Costs. I need to spend some time on this, so let's go ahead and get into this track right now. How much a dollar really costs? The question is detrimental, paralyzing my thoughts. Parasites in my stomach keep me with a good feeling, y'all. Gotta see how I'm chilling as I park this luxury car. Hopping out feeling big as Mutombo. 20 on pump, 6 dirty. Marcellus call me Dumbo. 20 years ago, can't forget. Now I can lend them an ear or two. How to stack the residuals tenfold. The liberal concept of Menadu. 20 on 60 didn't hear me. Indigenous African only spoke Zulu. My American tongue is slurry. Without the gas staples, a homeless man with a semi-tan complexion asked me for 10 rand, stressing about dry land. He bought a powder blue skies. They cracked open a piece of crack that he wanted. I knew he was smoking. He bled and pleaded. Asked me to feed him twice. I didn't believe he called him beat it. Contribute his money just for his pipe. I couldn't see it. He said, my son, temptation is one thing that I defeated. Listen to me, I want a single bill from you. Nothing less, nothing more. I told him I ain't having it. Close my door. Tell me how much a dollar costs. Alright, so How Much Does It Cost has to be my favorite track off the whole album. Keep in mind that Obama actually endorsed this song. And I like, just the story he told with it. Basically him going I'm guessing he's somewhere in Africa or something like that, and the homeless man is asking him for money, and the song is saying how much does a dollar cost, and towards the end of the song, basically the homeless man, he's basically God, and a dollar, it cost him, or Kendrick, his spot in heaven. So basically he's using that metaphor as, you know, the homeless man was God and whatnot. So I thought it was a great way, you know, to end off the song, and it's just a deep song, so y'all go listen to it. It has actually Ron Isley at the end of the song, and I kind of like how Kendrick, he doesn't use how he uses his features in this album. It's not like they have an individual part. It's kind of like he uses them like an instrument, somewhat, and it just kind of, you know, blends in with the song real well. But Ron Isley is at the end of the song if y'all kind of want to hear his little part. But other than that, let me go ahead and move into the next song called Complexion. I might as well go ahead and let this record play out. So Complexion is basically what it sounds like, and I think it's featuring Rhapsody, which I haven't really listened to much of her music, but I definitely like her verse towards the end of the song. It's basically talking about the complexion of skin and how it doesn't matter and stuff like that. Black of the Berry. I'm pretty sure y'all have heard this one as well, and this pretty much an aggressive, angry track from Kendrick, and talking about, you know, how he's proud of his black skin, his black heritage, and things like that as well. So go, you know, check Black of the Berry out. You Ain't Gotta Lie, another dope track. You ain't gotta lie to kick it, my. You ain't gotta lie. You ain't gotta lie, right? So for those of you who listen to the album, y'all already know. So for those of you who don't know the album, you probably don't know what the heck I'm talking about. 15th track. I like this version of the album better, actually, because this is like a live version of I instead of the studio version. I like this version actually better, and it kind of surprised me when I first listened to it. And I like towards the end of the song, it's like a little skit where there's a fight breaking out at the concert or whatever, and he's talking to this whole group of guys or whatnot, and he's kind of giving the history of the word nigga, and it actually derived from the word niggas, which is basically kind of like a black, you know, black royalty type thing. So that's kind of something y'all have to research and whatnot, but I actually kind of like towards the end of the song, so definitely listen to this version of I and not the studio version of I actually like this one better. But anyway, the final track of this album called Mortal Man, well, I guess can go second. That's my second favorite song of the album, so let's go ahead and get into that. Just let it ride for a second while I get my thoughts together. Some Mandela, hope my flow stay propellant. Let me first be your earth and moon. You consume every message as I lead this on me. Make room for mistakes and depression. And if that being said, my nigga, let me ask this question: when hit the fan, is you still a fan? Alright, so Mortal Man, the last song on the album, and really not much to say. It's a pretty deep song, and from what I've gathered, it's basically Kendrick questioning, you know, loyalty, you know, I guess from his fans or whatnot. When ish hit the fan, are you still a fan, right? So that's pretty much it for that song. And with this, this is also like the outro to the album after the song, where basically he kind of splices together an interview with Tupac, and it kind of makes it sound as if he's having the interview with Tupac, and it's pretty, you know, a good way to end the album. I think that's the best outro I've ever heard on an album, period. I just listened to it for that part alone, if you want to just skip to the end of the song. So it's a pretty long track. I think it's like a 10-minute, 11-minute track song, so definitely give that one a listen. But that's pretty much gonna be it for the end of the review. But I could not leave this review without saying one of my favorite parts of the whole album, which is basically the little poem that Kendrick does throughout the album. It's spread throughout the album, then he says it as a whole at the end of the album. So I'm gonna go ahead and recite that for you. So I have a little poem I want to share with y'all. Alright, so to show y'all I'm not reading off the computer here, I'm gonna close my laptop, because I should know this part by now because I repeated it so many times. So let me find my Kendrick impersonation.
I remember you was conflicted, misusing your influence. Sometimes I did the same, abusing my power full of resentment. Resentment that turned into a deep depression. Found myself screaming in the hotel room. I didn't want to self-destruct. The evils of Lucy was all around me. So I went running for answers until I came home. But that didn't stop survivor's guilt. Going back and forth trying to convince myself the stripes I earned, or maybe how A1 my foundation was. But while my loved ones was fighting a continuous war back in the city, I was entering a new one. A war that was based on apartheid and discrimination. Made me want to go back to the city and tell the homies what I learned. The word was respect. Just because you wore a different gang color than mine doesn't mean I can respect you as a black man. But if I respect you, we'll unify and stop the enemy from killing us. But I don't know. I'm no mortal man. Maybe I'm just. So that's gonna be it for my first album review. I definitely have more planned. It's a lot more albums that I want to discuss. But first, maybe I need to plan and kind of sit down on how I want to actually format these reviews instead of going off the head like I just did right now. But if y'all don't mind, maybe drop a comment down and just tell me how I did, or maybe give me your views on the album. You know, one of my objective is to kind of reach out and find other people that are kind of interested in the same music I am and share, you know, my views with y'all, or y'all share y'all views with me. You know, that's kind of one of the things I want with this channel, and to be a little bit more interactive. But with that being said, I hope y'all liked the video. Make sure to subscribe, show this channel some love, and we'll see where it goes from here. I'll see y'all later. Peace out.